Hi there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with this month's episode for August for the Pirates Plunder pick. This is something that I try to do every month about products that I am currently picking up. This is geared towards my patrons, but I think the information in this video is going to be relevant for anyone that is looking for sealed product to be picking up for either short-term or long-term investments. So this is kind of the products that I am investing in, and I am suggesting that my patrons actually buy. So some of this will have more to do with the prices that they are allowed to buy at. I don't know how much these are going for example, on like the Amazons and eBays. So when I talk about pricing, that's basically what they're getting for at the patron pricing. So if you're interested in my Patreon, you can go check out patreon.com/roguedeckbuilder, and it will have different tiers with different eligibilities for products. Alrighty, so in front of you I have Donglare. I use this site a lot on the channel. Donglare is just a very good one-stop shop for getting a gauge of how the market's doing. It will show you things like the average box value of a sealed product, or just the value of a sealed product if you're looking for like commander sets or like spell books or dual decks. So I'll be referencing this quite a bit. We're going off TCG market price. I think that's the best way to really gauge if you are able to crack something and actually make your money back. Mid and low are a little bit misleading. Low is often they're like heavily played and things like that that get mixed into it. Market really is just like the last, I think they do the last 10 cards that were sold to get that market price of where the cards are moving. So let's just take a look at a few other ones. We got Double Masters that's up to 320, for example. So that kind of gives you a gauge of how much you're expected to crack if you were to open up Double Masters. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's get to the top 10 products that I'm currently buying right now, or I suggest that you buy. Some of these will, on the back end, will be accessories. They won't even be Magic the Gathering products that I currently like. I think they're just great, top tier, quality products at their price level. And so it's really 6 Magic products this month, and then 4 accessories, I think, is what I've got it down to. I'll also be referencing the sheets. This is just something that I have available to my patrons to access this, and it shows kind of the patron pricing that people are able to get stuff off. So this week, I have things highlighted for this video of these particular products. So, yep. Anyway, let's get to it. So the first product that I like the most, we're going to actually go kind of in reverse order, is Theros Beyond Death, and this is particularly the Collector's Edition. So Core 2021 is basically out of stock. Ikoria is basically out of stock. You can still get like the collector's sleeves, or the blisters, I think is what they call it. So what happened with the blisters with Ikoria is there was massive theft problem at like the Walmarts and Targets. So they got recalled. And after they got recalled, they then got sold to distributors, and distributors then sold them to local game stores. So your local game store does have the opportunity to buy Core 2021, or not Core 2021. I'm expecting that one in the future. But they do have the option to buy Ikoria and option to buy the Throne. Theros is not an option currently for the blisters because they don't want to compete with the collector's editions that are still available for Theros Beyond Death. So Theros Beyond Death kind of fit in a weird time period for Magic, a huge slump, and the collector's editions were just not something that people picked up at the same rate that they have the other ones. Ikoria had those specialty Godzilla cards you can get. The Core 2021 had like the Ugin that people were just going crazy over, so that one sold out. Theros, though, people were just not very excited about Theros cards, nor were they excited about the kind of showcase or whatever they call the particular cards for the Theros versions. Throne did sell out pretty quickly, but they also had the huge supply from the blisters, as well as they had the huge supply from the bundles. So the collector's bundles that were available during the holiday season had a pack of the collector's editions in there too. So Throne, I would give a slight edge over Theros if it just didn't have so much supply. The other thing that happened kind of with Throne is it was eligible for the Challenger decks, and it's really hurt the value of that set. So Theros is just really wedged in between some more popular sets and being the most unpopular set. It actually has something going for it, especially with the prices of some of these cards. So if you're looking at just like chase cards, with a $225 Euro and a $100 Nyx Bloom Ancient and $100 Crocs of Titans of Death's Hunger, I think that this is eventually going to lead to the collector editions being sought after. So I actually do like these both for being cracked if you can get them on a decent price. I think right now I'm getting these between $170 and $175 would be the distributor price for the Theros Collector's Edition. But I think that even long term, these are going to be pretty good holds because Euro is just taking over Modern. And it also does see Pioneer play. It hasn't been banned in that format yet. It's still going to have the whole rotation through Standard. And so I'm liking people chasing for the Euro specifically. It also did miss, the Underworld Breach got banned in Pioneer, but it did miss the, at least Helo didn't get banned. It was the Walking Ballista that got banned. So I think even like the Helo at Sun's Crown will have the ability to recover. And then we have like things like Dryad of Elysian Grove that is just a commander staple, a commander powerhouse. Same thing with Thassa's Oracle. So a lot of cards that are sneaking up on us from Theros that I think makes a pretty reasonable argument for why this particular collector's edition for the long term, and especially at the price point, because you got to compare it. All things aren't created equal in my analysis. If you're getting on like collector's edition on Core 2021, I think the going price was $210 for those, and Ikoria is even higher than that, and I think Throne is extremely high at this point. Of course, you can still get into those blisters at lower prices, but for the sealed collector's edition, those are much higher prices than you're paying the 170 to 175 for the Theros. Now, it is rumored that Theros Beyond Death has higher supply for this collector's edition, but I haven't really seen any paperwork that suggests that or any receipts that suggest that. I'm just really thinking that Core 2021 and Ikoria, everyone wanted the collector's editions, and Theros, again, was in just this weird, awkward time period. So that's my number one pick for this month is the Theros Beyond Death. There are a few distributors that are overloaded with these, but there are a few of them that are actually out of these, and that's a good sign for Theros. It's something they can't order from Wizards of the Coast anymore. It's done at least from that end. So how it works with distribution is Wizards of the Coast has their own warehouse supply for some products. Some products go directly from the printers to the distributors, and some go from Wizards warehouse that then can be bought as distributors' discretion of purchasing products to refill their own warehouses. So this one, I believe, is gone from the Wizards warehouses. So the only remainder stuff that is remaining is stuff in the distributors' warehouses. All right, that was kind of a mouthful for that particular product. Let's move on to my second favorite product. This is the Modern Horizons. Now, let's go back over to Dawnglare. Modern Horizons can be had for about, it depends between what week. Sometimes it goes on special, sometimes it's a little bit more expensive. But they're from distributors, it's around 160 to 180 for Modern Horizons. I mean, 180 being like the high of the highs. There actually is, without MSRP, there's a lot of discretion between distributors, I've been noticing. And with ACD getting cut out, I think we're going to see even more swingy prices, like low and high end of what distributors, when they start to compete with each other to really gain more of the consumer base. So Modern Horizons, if you can get in on the best price at the 155, I think is a pretty good steal here according to Dawnglare. You see it's going for 175, and it's because a lot of the more commander-based cards are really starting to tick up. You have the, I can't remember what they call the pain rocks, where you can add specific colors for 1 life or colorless for no life. Those start taking up in the foil versions. We have the lands that are very popular. We have Prismatic Vista, which is very popular in the set. And we have things like Seasoned Pyromancer that are also very popular and starting to going up, up, up. So you can see, look at this creep from where the rest of the market is going down because of double masters. Modern Horizons is holding its own. Now, Modern Horizons, you can only order till August. Well, distributors should have some, whatever's remaining at the end of August. Wizards has already cut it off. That is the window of actually ordering from them to get a restock of Modern Horizons. So we should see the supply really start to dwindle. And I got to give a comparison to Battle Bond, because Battle Bond was very similar. It was something that got reprinted multiple times because it was a print-to-demand set. And so while it was in that window of where distributors could order from the warehouse, the Battle Bond stayed pretty low. And then as soon as Battle Bond was out of that printing, it just shot up. It just went through the roof of the price of Battle Bond, both the EV as well as the sealed. So I'm thinking if you're wanting to get into Modern Horizons, I think right now is going to be the last time period for that super cheap price, around the 155 all the way to 175 range, and I think I can get it for 155 this week. So Modern Horizons is a big pickup. Let's just take a look at where some of the cards are. We have Ren 6 at 63, Force of Negation at 45, which is a rare, mind you. That wasn't it wasn't the buy box promo. That was the Flusterstorm. So that one is still available to crack out of packs. The Urza still doing really well for Commander. Look at the Prismatic Vista, another rare that's 28. Seasoned Pyromancer has been going up. Sword of Truth and Justice been staying pretty good. Yawgmoth staying pretty good for Sliver. More from the Boundless should go up even more because of how popular this is as a Commander. And we have other ones too, like the the lands that are doing quite well. So I think this is going to be a product that is going to age well, and it's coming to the end of its cycle. So very good time to be getting in on this. The next one is a particular product that I think I've bought most of these up just because I think they're a great deal. I think it's $15 for a dual decks Elspeth Ventures. I'll have to double check on the pricing of these ones of what I got the last lot in on. So this one I think is very interesting because Dark Steel Plate, which should have I'm very, very surprised that Dark Steel Plate actually missed being reprinted in Double Masters. It was on theme with the equipment. There were so many other equipments in the set. They didn't like dumb it down into an uncommon, which easily could have happened with what they've done with other cards out of the set. Even this would have probably made an okay box topper at that point with how much people like this card. It missed it. It completely missed 2XM, so that's a really good sign for Dark Steel Plate. We should see Dark Steel Plate start to creep up. Yeah, some of the other cards in this particular set have been stinkers, like Solemn Simulacrum getting multiple reprints in the last couple of years. But we do have like Yeva that's been trending up. Azuri hasn't had a reprinting in a while. It should start trending up. Elvish Archer, I believe, was in Jumpstart, though, so this one should be flat, probably going down when Jumpstart gets reprinted. But we have things like Goblin Welder I think are going to be good long term, and a few other ones here and there that are great. But it's really this Dark Steel Plate. Like if you're paying if you basically break even on one card, like once Dark Steel Plate hits around that $15, I know places like Card Kingdom lowered their buy list on this. A couple weeks ago, it was $7 for their buy list. It was like $7 or $8 for Dark Steel Plate. So it's like, okay, cool. If you can get in on 12 to 15 for this particular Elves vs. Inventor, then you've paid for 2/3 of it right there. Is the rest of it actually worth $4? And that's where I think that these dual decks, they're not doing dual decks anymore. And the value in some of the older ones are even less than dual decks Elves vs. Inventors, and they've began to creep up in sealed form. So I think this is actually pretty good in sealed form, and I also think this is pretty good to break it apart, particularly because of the Dark Steel Plate. That's a pretty decent card, and it should be starting to trend up if the market does recover from 2XM. All right, on to the next one, which is Theros Beyond Death pre-release kits. Now, I like these over booster boxes. Pre-release kits can still get like the stamped Euro Titans of Nature's Wrath. The whole reason why I'm saying that you should get into Theros Beyond Death pre-release kits, because historically speaking, look at the rest of the pre-release kits. Pre-release kits just go up. They outperform booster boxes. They outperform many other products. There will always be a market for people that missed out on these pre-releases that want to experience them. And it has a very similar effect that booster boxes do. As soon as one's cracked, there's one less that's in the supply and one less that gets competed with people that actually want this for their collection. I know so many people that collect one of each pre-release and don't open it and just, keep it for their collection. And so Theros Beyond Death, why I'm referencing this one, is they're almost gone from distributors. So this is going to be your last chance to get Theros Beyond Death. I can still get plenty of not Core 2021, I think they're gone too, but I can still get Ikoria. It seems like Ikoria is still overloaded for the pre-release kits. I think that because of the pandemic, I think Core 2021 too, if I remember correctly. I'll have to check and see if Core 2021 is still available. But Theros is the one that has been available for quite some time, that is looking like it's nearing its end. And this has actually been one of those pre-release kits that's been it has been available longer than I can remember most pre-release kits being available for. Of course, there's stinkers like Dragon's Maze that are still available to this day. So if you're interested in Dragon's Maze pre-release kits, I can still get them. But Theros Beyond Death, though, is a pretty decent set. And this is what I like about Theros. It's the set that's just kind of snuck up on us. So we have Eldraine at 58. Again, the problem with Eldraine is it's just been reprinted too much with like Challenger decks, taking away a lot of its value with like the Brazenborn and the Embercleave that were in Challenger decks, two of its Chase Mythics. But Theros Beyond Death has really missed a lot of that from the Challenger decks, and then being sandwiched into two more popular products. We have Ikoria that's way less and Eldraine that's way less, and a $72 average value for a booster box from Theros Beyond Death is not bad. What is the cherry on top is these pre-release kits come with a dice, and it also comes with dice do have value. You can find a buyer for it. I've done it before. I've sold masses of them for $0.25 a piece. And I've even sold them for higher for specific ones. I've sold some very specific ones for a lot of money, but those are old school ones. However, the pre-release kit also comes with that stamped pre-release. So And it's not bad. It's not a bad investment for the Theros Beyond Death kits. I think you're going to get in on them at 17 is the price. So you end up being booster boxes or booster packs if you divide a 17 by 6 plus whatever you value the average value of the pre-release stamp. I've done it in ones in the past, and there was some like Core 2019 where the average value of a stamped rare was $5. So I'm not sure in this day and age with like collector's editions that add a lot more foils into the mix if that's going to be the case for like these stamped ones that come out of Theros Beyond Death pre-release kits, if there actually is any like difference between those and normal cards or foils. I'll have to do the math on that. But I think pre-release kits are just a good long-term hold. And they do outperform booster boxes. And this one is very similar to Modern Horizons. I think it's your last chance to get in on this if you actually do want this. And that would be my, the fourth pick for this week. So on to my fifth one. This is Commander 2019. Now, I've had a few debates with various people about Commander 2019 versus Commander 2020. And this is very similar to Theros. The whole reason why I like Commander 2019 over Commander 2020 is Commander 2020 was popular. Commander 2019 was not popular. I like these kind of stinker sets that just creep up on you. And I actually think Commander 2019 is going to have some cards that are going to be popular long term. The problem I have with Commander 2020 is I think that the Chase free spell commander cards are going to be printed very often in upcoming commander products. I think that they're wanting to have those more into the supply. A lot of them are very expensive. They've eaten up all of the value from Commander 2020, and I think that they're going to be reprinted in upcoming commander products. I don't think that things like Dockside Extortionist or Seedborn Muse or Crick are cards that are going to be that easily reprinted in the next commander sets. Possibly they will be, but I'm thinking this is kind of the sleeper set. Another reason why I like Commander 2019 is it's pretty cheap right now. You can get in on Commander 2019 for, I think it's in between 90 and 95. I'll have to see the going price I can get for these particular box. That's for a set of, I think there's four commander decks. So takes the cost of them down to even lower than it was when it first came out. And Ikoria, for example, is 5 decks for $125. So it's quite a bit cheaper for Commander 2019, and you still get these full decks that have good stuff in them, like Ghostly Prisms, Thran Dynamos. My degrees should go down because of double masters, but I mean, you get bogs, you get all the normal stuff in Commander when they get reprinted goes back up, and you can see this one is starting to trend up. I think hit its bottom. It's done with it hitting its bottom. It's time for this to start going up in value. If we actually come over to the Commander 2019, you can see there's a $54 in one of them, $35, $35, $23, and compare it with Commander 2020 when you have a $15 and then $52 and then $30, $31, $30, $31. So it's very, very similar on average. If you do the average value of them, I think the Commander 2019 slightly outdoes Commander 2020. And Commander 2018 also was one of those that no one really liked. Like, this was a set that was considered a stinker. In fact, Commander 2019 was supposed to be an improvement from Commander 2018. And so I'm thinking that give it a year and the prices will be very similar to where Commander 2018 is now. Alrighty, so that leaves us now with two products. I'm actually going to choose Guilds of Ravnica over Ravnica Allegiance. I like it slightly better. Ravnica Allegiance has some good cards in, like the shocks are more sought after than the ones out of Guilds of Ravnica. Like Breeding Pool is the one that is the most popular, but historically speaking, Steam Vents starts to outpace Breeding Pool. I think one of the reasons Breeding Pool has been so popular, Modern it's taken off as far as like blue-green decks, and its standard has just been Breeding Pool. Breeding Pool has been the go-to standard card, the most played land in standard forever now because of the Nissa ramp decks that have been, the Sultai and Simic ramp decks that have just been a mainstay for standard since Ravnica Allegiance came out. So Guilds of Ravnica, I think a lot of those shocks should recover. The supply is very similar to both of them. They sold about the same. Possibly Guilds of Ravnica a little higher because Magic was, pretty popular during Guilds. It was really popular through Ravnica Allegiance too. But yeah, supply should be very similar for the two sets. But where I like Guilds of Ravnica slightly over Ravnica Allegiance is when we get into cards like the Chromatic Lantern, the Thousand Year Storms. Underrealm Lich has been going up. You got Assassin's Trophy that should age well. And then a lot of these in this mid-tier area, I think is also really, really poised to go up in value, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does pass up Ravnica Allegiance. So currently Ravnica Allegiance is the set that's worth more, and you can see they're both trending down. That's because rotation of standard is going to occur. However, I think that these, if Pioneer is going to be a legit format going forward, I think Shocklands will be the new fetch lands. And historically speaking, the red-blue lands do start to outpace the other lands, but Breeding Pool is going to be a popular one, like I said, in Modern Pioneer for the foreseeable future. You can kind of put War of the Spark in this category. All three of these I think are good buys currently because the price point is super cheap at $77 a booster box. And these is going to be the last chance, just like Modern Horizon, before these go completely they're out of print right now, but completely out of stock, out of availability from the Wizards warehouse. So there are my sealed picks: is the Throne of the Theros Beyond Death Collector's Edition, Modern Horizons, Dual Deck Elves vs. Inventors, Theros Beyond Death, Commander 2019, and the Guilds of Ravnica / Ravnica Legion / War of the Spark. Let's get on to some fun stuff. So for this particular video, I'm going to showcase some of my favorite accessories. So here's a newcomer to the scene. These are Gamegenic. Gamegenic inner sleeves. This is an offshoot of Asmodee. So you're seeing this is kind of the Asmodee colors here that they have, the color scheme on their product line. So the story about Gamegenic is it's one of the former heads of Ultimate Guard decided to quit Ultimate Guard and start their own product lines. They made a deal with Asmodee, and they've come out with a lot of products that are very similar to Ultra Pro, Dragon Shield, and Ultimate Guard. Now, their inner sleeves are really good, and they're like a buck less to the next competitor. So the only thing that I warn you about inner sleeves is they don't pair well with Ultra Pro. So if you're sleeving Ultra Pro sleeves with the Gamegenic inner sleeve, they might just be a little too loose, and when you're pushing them into the outer sleeve, they kind of fall out. And I have a video that's coming out that on my Gone Rogue Games channel, which will review the sleeves. So be looking forward to that video, and you can see what I'm talking about there. But they fit really good in Dragon Shields. They fit really good in the Katanas from Ultimate Guard, and they fit perfectly in the Gamegenic line of sleeves. And the Gamegenic matte sleeves are actually really high quality for about 2/3 the cost of like Katanas or Dragon Shields. So the inner sleeves gives my nod right now. I've been selling a ton of these. The price point is just really good at, I believe, it's like $3 if you order one at a time. It's like $2.50 if you order more than one, I believe is what I get it down to. I've got a ton of these on back order because I did buy out the current inventory of Gamegenic because I was just blowing through them. So these are, once I get these back in stock, I think they're a snap pickup. I like them better than Dragon Shields and KMCs for the inner sleeves just because the price point's just better there, and they're just as good of quality of sleeves. All right, so the next one is the Dragon Shield Zipster binder. So this is a binder that went on closeout. I think they're going to be tinkering with the configuration of this. Some people don't like this binder because it is pretty compact. You can see it's a three-ring binder with the small binders. So it doesn't hold the greatest amount of pages compared to some of these other binders that have come out that have the zip on them. And the pages do slightly, they don't have the best turning page effect, but they do keep your cards very protected. You're not going to get the binder bends that you do from some of the other binders that have come out. And these do hold Dragon Shield sleeves, which are Dragon Shield pages, which are some of the best on the market. So this Zipster binder is pretty cheap right now. You'll have to look at the sheets to see exactly how much it costs. But the reason I like this is we are branding. We'll get ahead of myself. We've been branding these, and it just pops. We get our logo on this guy, and it's just beautiful. So this is a binder that I did for a patron with the white on black Rogue Deck Builder logo. We can do other logos like the Gone Rogue. Maybe we'll do one for Rogue Market. I don't know. That's something I could definitely look into. And then if you're interested in this in a patron, we can brand basically anything, but I think this particular one makes a great binder. It's Dragon Shield. This is top-notch, high-quality stuff. And again, I think that what's happening with these, they're closing these out, coming out with a higher-end product, and I was able to get in on a very cheap price for this zipper binder. So if you're looking for like a kind of a top-notch binder, these were expensive at one point. I think these were like $30, $40 binders. So I can't remember my prices, like $8 to $10, I think. And then if we print the logo on it, it goes up. I think we just do a flat like $5 logo fee for how much it costs us to put a logo on. So I'm really liking this binder. Again, if you're looking for something that does fit sleeves, so you can customize it with which ones you put in there. You have like the side loading ones, as far as you can side load, top load, non-glare, the 16 pocket, 18 pocket. These can hold them from Dragon Shield. All right, the next one is I skipped over it. This is the Nest 100. Now, I don't know why these colors have gone on closeout. Dragon Shield like releases new colors, so they kind of do it in these like waves of colors. So red, blue, and black are currently cheap right now for the Nest 100s, and I bought most of the supply of these because they're another great item that we can brand our logo onto, and this is a very, very top-notch deck box. So this deck box can hold 100 sleeve cards. It protects it very well. You can kind of see it here with how the nests work. So you flip them over and then you can hold your cards in it like that. The Nest 100 Pluses are also on sale. They have the dice tray. I think these are just a little bit too bulky for. I'm not a big fan of dice to begin with, but if you are looking at something that can hold dice, then the Nest 100s can definitely hold dice. And they have that little drawer here for it. And some of these are on sale too, like the black on black one's cheap, and the I think the black on white one I have a ton of inventory for. So I do have many colors of these Nest 100s, and they're super cheap. They're like $5, $5-6 depending on the color combination for these nests. So again, I think they went close out because they're coming out with more colors for the nests, or a little bit upgraded version for the nests. So that is another one. Look at this. We've kind of branded on a red one. The logo just pops on it. Pretty cool if you're looking for that. Last but not least, this is my favorite playmat of all time. This is the Zai Slayer. I bought a bunch of these. Now they're out of stock. These are the limited edition playmats. These are pretty cool from Dragon Shield. They have the stitching edges, and this is what it looks like. So this is my favorite artwork of all time. And look at this dragon. It's chasing those little sharks. I'm not get demonetized by talking about the baby shark. Oh, great. Got demonetized. But anyway, yeah, so the dragon's going and eating the sharks. Look at this. This fish is bigger than the sharks. Anyway, I just love this mat. I always love this comic book style. So this is my go-to mat of choice. Absolutely just love the vivid colors. There, of course, are many other Dragon Shield binders to choose from. This one, I bought most of the supply out of. This was cheap. So these are like, I think, $8 to buy this playmat. And that's super cheap for a high-quality playmat. So those are my picks again for the Pirates Plunder. This video ended up being a pretty long one. I typically do more fast ones for this. So I'll have a sheet that's linked on my, if you are in the Discord for a patron, that you can see the we call it the commonly purchased items. We'll show kind of the inventory that I have on hand and kind of the cost it is for me to order it. So we'll just go over this one more time. We have the Theros Beyond Death, Collector's Editions, the Modern Horizons, Dual Deck Elves vs. Inventors, Theros Beyond Death, pre-release packs, Commander 2019, Guilds of Ravnica / War of the Spark / Ravnica Legions, because they're rotating out, and I think all three of them are going to age very well. I think they're going to be kind of looked back at as a really robust time of Magic with some just besides Teferi. You can argue besides Teferi and maybe Narset, you can argue that these were slam dunks of sets. Wilderness Wreck. I know there were some problem cards in these, but overall the set had some pretty cool, well-designed cards. The inner sleeves from Game Genic, the Zipster binder from Dragon Shield, the Nest 100s from Dragon Shield. Kind of look at those one more time, and the Zai Slayer playmat from Dragon Shield. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions concerning the Patreon, you can go ahead and message me, and I'll try to respond back accordingly. We have a awesome community and awesome Discord on our Patreon. A lot of people stay patrons even though they don't necessarily order a lot of products, just because they love the Discord that much. So don't take my word for it. You can come and join and see what it's all about. Anyway, this has been Kevin with the Rogue Market. Thanks for watching.